we've had the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine come out, issue 584, available from all good and evil news retailers. However, that's a bit of a lie, because this issue 584, has been incredibly difficult to get a physical copy of. I've got a digital copy. I do have a subscription to Doctor Who magazine digitally, but this one with the cover, with the 14th Doctor on the cover, with "This is the future, David Tennant is the Doctor," and the brand new logo that they've shown for it, which is part of the new rebranding of the show. It is gorgeous. It is some glamorous stuff, and there's a lot of really cool stuff in this magazine. I won't go through obviously the entire thing because you should be buying this. But one thing I will quickly talk about is that they do have the first brand new 14th Doctor comic strip, which takes place basically as soon as the power of the Doctor ends, in the very first canonical story that's been endorsed by Russell T Davies, where the 14th Doctor goes to watch a World Cup football match and the Daleks invade. It is called Liberation of the Daleks, and this is the very first time that the Daleks have been in a Doctor Who magazine comic strip for 20 years. I think the story was called Children of the Revolution. It was an 8th Doctor Paul McGann story from 2002. So I have no idea why the Daleks have taken such a long hiatus from Doctor Who magazine, but they're back now and they're invading the World Cup when the 14th Doctor is there to stop them. And I love this frame as well, this image of the 14th Doctor next to the TARDIS. Now, you may think this is just a matter of perspective here, this police officer is just in the background here, but no, you would be wrong. It turns out that the 14th Doctor and the brand new TARDIS are actually 30 feet tall, and this police officer is just quite small. So not only do we have a brand new Doctor with David Tennant, but we have the tallest Doctor since William Hartnell. Anyway, right. Let's get to some of the more interesting stuff that's in this magazine, which I do recommend you pick up. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. But the most interesting, most topical stuff for the new era of the show is this Meet the New Team bit, where we go through who the brand new producers and the new team are. So we've got Joel Collins, we've got Phil Collinson, we've got Vicky Dello, we've got Julie Gardner, etc., etc. However, some of the more interesting names here, the one that kind of jumped out to me was Scott Handcock, who not only is a producer and writer for Big Finish Productions, who has done Doctor Who, he's done Class, he's done Torchwood, Confessions of Dorian Gray, but he also started off as a production runner for Doctor Who Confidential and the Sarah Jane Adventures in the mid to late 2000s, meaning that this guy has actually worked from the ground up in the TV and film industry to start off as a runner on Doctor Who Confidential, and now he's a script editor for the show proper. I think that's absolutely outstanding. Also here as well, we've got Philip Sims, who is the brand new production designer. Phil's extensive CV as an art director and supervising art director includes the 6th and 7th Mission Impossible films, the Star Wars saga, Guardians of the Galaxy, etc. He talks about how one of his first experiences watching Doctor Who was with Destiny of the Daleks, and also this little nugget of information here. What are you most looking forward to? No spoilers. I'm looking forward to designing a new Dalek. Can I say that? ... question mark. A lot of the brand new producers are coming from the Bad Wolf side of the equation. They've worked on His Dark Materials. They've worked on shows like Succession as well. We've got Chris May, who was a first AD on episodes of Sex Education and His Dark Materials. So there's going to be a lot of crossovers. Basically, in terms of producers, there's a lot more names here than Doctor Who is typically used to. That makes sense, however, because Doctor Who is now being made externally from the BBC for the first time. It is now being made by Bad Wolf and distributed in the UK and Ireland, at least, by the BBC, and internationally by the BBC and Disney+. Also, in this magazine, we got news about the directors. Now, some of these we've already known for a while. We've got the director of This Is Going to Hurt. His name is Tom Kingsley. We've also got Chanya Button, who's directing the 3rd special. But this, as far as I'm aware, is a brand new Doctor Who magazine exclusive, Dylan Holmes Williams, who is going to be directing Block 1 of the next series. Now, in a layman's terms, blocks are the different segments of film scheduling or TV filming scheduling that a series goes through. For example, Block 1 for Series 1 of Doctor Who with Christopher Eccleston was Rose, Aliens of London, and World War III. And then Block 2 was another 2 or 3 episodes later on. I believe that maybe Dalek and Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways was part of the last block. I can't remember exactly, but that first block, Aliens of London, World War III, and Rose, was directed by Keith Boak. So he's the Keith Boak equivalent, basically. He is going to be setting the tone, more or less, for the rest of the directors, for the rest of the filming blocks, for Series 14 of Doctor Who. He's been directing episodes of M. Night Shyamalan's series Servant, which is on Apple TV, and he says, "It's such an honour to enter this universe. I'm loving every minute of working as a director alongside such a talented and lovely group of people. There's a fantastic family vibe to the team who make the show, and I've been made to feel so welcome. I can't wait for audiences to see what we're cooking up." Also, we got the confirmation that Rachel Talalay is doing Special 1, China Button doing Special 3, and Tom Kingsley doing Special 2. So, this is stuff that we already knew, but it's nice to have it written down and confirmed in paper. Aidan Woodhead says, yeah, Eccleston said that one of his first scenes was chasing the pig down the corridor. Yeah, that was the first thing he did, when he's like, what did you do that for? It was scared! It was scared. Yeah, that's it. Also, we got this little nice nugget of information. Letter from the showrunner. So basically, every month Russell T Davies is going to be doing a segment in Doctor Who magazine. And for this one, he says that he's got 10 scripts in front of him, 4 specials, and 6 episodes of the new series so far, with episode 7 blinking away on the screen. First line, interior, coffee bar, USA, day, 1947. And I can't remember exactly where in the magazine it says this, but we do basically know that this is a script, a story I should say, that is going to be revolving around the Roswell incident in Texas in 1947. Basically, the little green men who allegedly came down in a flying saucer, there were alien autopsies. It was a whole thing, apparently, in 1947. And that's the script that Russell T Davies has got on his lap as he's writing this segment for Doctor Who magazine. We also know in this segment as well that it was Catherine Tate who initially instigated this conversation to bring the gang back together for the upcoming specials. Catherine Tate said that she really, really wanted to do it after watching The Runaway Bride, organised by Emily Cook, who was formerly the editor of Doctor Who magazine, who has now moved on to Big Finish and other things. Catherine Tate gets in touch with David Tennant. David Tennant and Catherine Tate are basically like, yeah, we'd love to come back and bring the old gang back together. And Russell T Davies said that it was his duty. It wasn't, it was literally my job to let the BBC know. It wasn't my choice anymore. It was my duty to let the BBC know that Catherine Tate and David Tennant wanted to come back. And that's basically snowballed into them coming back for the upcoming specials. Ollie Thomas, she mentioned in a TV interview, I think, yeah, there's a fun irony looking back to Catherine Tate being on the One Show, I think, and it was rumoured at the time, because she'd been spotted in Cardiff, but I think she was actually filming a Netflix series at the time. It wasn't to do with Doctor Who, saying, Catherine Tate, you've been in Cardiff, have you been filming Doctor Who? Would you come back to Doctor Who? And she was like, yeah, but all they have to do is just give me the call, but I've not had the call, obviously. But at that time, it does seem that movements were being made to bring her back along with David Tennant and Russell T Davies. So that's fun, isn't it, kids? And people going on about how it's Dreamland 2. Yes, we're finally getting a sequel to the best 10th Doctor 2009 special, the animated serial Dreamland. I knew that it was only a matter of time. Doctor Who Home says, can we just say how good this Doctor magazine was? So much content. Yeah, this was a terrific issue. It's actually very difficult to get a hold of this issue now, because obviously you put David Tennant on the cover and it's got all these exclusive things. A 14th Doctor comic strip. There's a great segment where Jamie McInnes Stone, amongst other people, are being interviewed in the magazine talking about how they shot the regeneration sequence. There's Russell T Davies interviews, all this good stuff. It's very difficult to find a hard copy of this, particularly in Scotland and in the north of England. There has been distribution issues, but I think that's code for we did not anticipate the amount of demand. So it's actually sold out. And if you go on eBay, this magazine, which originally RRPs for £6.99, is being sold on eBay for about £20 to £25 at the lower end. People have been scalping the issues of this latest Doctor Who magazine. So whether or not there actually were distribution issues, or putting David Tennant on a Doctor Who magazine cover with him as the brand new Doctor is really going to shift copies. So that's interesting, to say the least. Also, we did get clarification in this magazine that filming has been pushed back to December. So last Monday, when I said Doctor Who was meant to start filming today, it seems like I was wrong. I was going from outdated information, so I apologise for that. But we do know now that they're going to start filming next month. Tharius, I particularly love Rusty Davis's joke about Moffat staying for 500 years. Oh yeah, that's great. What does he say? He says, I knew the 60th anniversary was coming up 3 years ahead. I kind of knew vaguely that Chris was only doing 3 years as showrunner, although I remember Stephen Moffat saying about TV, never do a 4th season, and he stayed for 500 years. And also, yeah, Steve Moffat did a 4th series of Sherlock as well, so come on Moffat, you're slacking with your own principles. But yeah, it's fun. It's a really good issue, and I highly recommend that you check it out. What else did they have? They had some really cool 13th Doctor fan art, etc. Time space visualizer. We've got Scott Hancock doing a production diary for his time. We've got this brilliant image of the 14th Doctor in his really cool coat. Go ahead and check out Doctor Who magazine, available from all good and evil newspaper retailers.